Okie dokie. So next up, we have our last logical operator, which is called not. It's also known as logical negation, and it's pretty simple compared to and or, because all that it does, it only works with one logical or one piece of logic at a time, and it will be truthy if the opposite of A is true, which, hearing myself say that, it sounds really confusing. But a simple example, if we had a variable called is weekend is either true or false, we can do an if not is weekend, we'll print go to work. Now that's a really, really simple example. Most of the time we actually use it to negate other pieces of logic. So let me just show you an example. First of all, we could do something like, so we have, 1 is less than, let's make a variable and we'll call it age, this time is 10. So we could have a statement like age is less than 4, and that's false. But if I just do not age less than 4, it's true. So it just flips it, turns it the other way around. So that's a silly example, but if we go to a file, so I'll quit this, and I'll make a new file called not.py. And in here, let's just hard code age to start, and let's just say age is 21. Okay, so we're doing our movie tickets again, and so the age groups are going to be between, if you are from 2 to 6, or 2 to 8, it's a $2 ticket. And if you're a senior citizen, which is you're over 65, it is a, I don't know, maybe a $5 ticket. And for other people, so basically the people who are not between 2 and 8 and not 65 or greater, they're going to pay $10. Okay, so if we wanted to just target the people who are going to pay $10, what we could do, and you'll have to stick with me here, we're going to start by just targeting the people who are between 2 and 8. So that's going to be is age greater than or equal to 2 and is age less than or equal to 8. So that gives us our first group. But then we also have, okay, is age greater than or equal to 65. So these are, for senior citizens, this is for children. So what we could do now, and this is going to be a big step, we're going to combine these two with an or. So this is growing out of control, but we're going to add parentheses here to make it clear what happens where. Okay, so we have our first thing. This is to check, is age between 2 and 8? Or is age greater than or equal to 65? Right? So if it's either one of those, that means that it's either, a child or a senior citizen. So we can use not to negate the entire thing. So we want the opposite of this to be true. Now, I realize this is a bit of a stretch, but let's just walk through it again. So we're basically saying if age is not between 2 and 8, and age is not greater than 65. And the reason that it's an and is because the not will negate this. Okay, so let's plug something in. Let's say age is 21. All right, so 21 is greater than or equal to 2, but it's not less than or equal to 8. So this becomes, right here, false. Then we have false, or is age greater than or equal to 65? That's also false over here. So false or false, that whole thing is false because we need one side to be true. So it's false. Not false turns it into true. Yeah, I have a feeling that we may have bit off a bit more than I should have in this video, but I'm going to leave it in here. I'll do some simpler examples afterwards, but let's just add an if at this point. So we'll do, if that's the case, we will print, you pay $10 and are not a child or citizen or senior. And are not a child or senior. Okay. Let's test it out. So we're going to run Python 3 not.py, and we get you pay $10 and are not a child or senior. But if we change this now to be 7, rerun it, we don't get anything. So let's add our else. You are a child or senior. Now, one thing that we should probably consider is that it would be, in most situations, we might want to just say, we could restructure this in a much better way where we could do, if you're a child, you pay this, else if you are a senior, you pay this, else then you pay $10. But for the sake of this example, I did it this way. So if we are 7, we get you are a child or senior. If we are 78, meaning we're senior, we get you are a child or senior. Okay, so I know that was a lot, adding in these parentheses in particular, but the idea is that not will negate whatever comes after it, and because we have parentheses, this is going to go first. That turns into false. So then we have false, or age greater than 65. Well, in this case, that's true because it's 78. So false or true becomes true. And then we negate that with not, which turns the whole thing into false. So if false, this doesn't run. So then else runs. Yeah, I know it's a lot. Okay, so I'll leave it at this for now. If you want, we can do a couple of really quick examples. You could do something like 1 less than 2, that's true. But if we put not there, not note, not, it's now false. Or we could get slightly more complicated with not 1 greater than 3 and 5 equals 5. So what's the result of this? Well, is 1 greater than 3? Nope. So that's false. False and is 5 equal to 5? That's true. So false and true, that whole thing is false, but we're negating it all, making it true. Yeah, I know it kind of feels crazy to be doing these sort of examples, I know, but hopefully you're able to follow along with this here. I know it's pretty gross and ugly, but this is what we do with logical operators. So that the idea is that we're stringing together comparisons, individual comparisons with ors, ands, and nots. Okay.